Hello everybody and welcome back to Mastering Avantra. Today I'm going to take you through our quick install feature for those of you getting up and running with your Avantra server for the first time. This is a single click install that we provide to get you from a vanilla OS install on Linux through to a fully configured and ready to go Avantra server and agent, all within about 3 to 5 minutes. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to show you is I have my system. So if I do a hostname CTL on here, you'll see I'm running an Ubuntu 20.04.4 LTS Linux installation. In this case, I'm on GCP, but we're talking 20.04 here. As long as you have a flavor of that, you should be good to go. So the first thing you're going to do is we're logged in as root, as you can see. Also, a sudo capable user will be absolutely fine. It's completely up to you, but you do need to have those administration privileges to do the installation because we're going to be adding software and whatnot. So next we're going to go to downloads.avantra.com like this. Now you'll be prompted to log in. I'm already logged in. And if you don't have credentials or if you're struggling to log in, please do reach out to us at support@avantra.com. Now over here on the right hand side, you'll see our latest downloads, and here we're going for the installation of a server. So we're going to select server, and here you'll be presented with the various versions that are available. But over here on the left, you'll see the new quick installation option. Now, if you don't see this, if it's not available to you, just drop us a line at support@avantra.com or contact your CSM and we'll get this added to your profile. So here you'll see information about the quick install. So the Linux distributions we support are SUSE Linux 15 SP3 and above, Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7 and 8, and Ubuntu 20.04. Now it may work on other, like for example Ubuntu 18 LTS and all that kind of stuff. You're more than welcome to try it out, but you may need to do some debugging if things don't quite work out. And so here at the bottom we provide this single click install command. So this is quite as simple as click copy install command, go back to your Ubuntu box, paste, and off you go. So just hit enter and off it goes. Now I have a second shell down here for us to be able to monitor what's going on. So as you can see, as we're starting to go here, you can see that the automated server installer is starting to download the required files, extract them, and all this kind of fun stuff. You won't see this error. This is just because I'm working on a Mac at the moment. And it kicks off the automated system setup. Now, behind an Avantra server installation, there's a PostgreSQL database. And so this installation package will actually do the installation of Postgres, configuration, or if it finds a PostgreSQL installation on the machine, it'll just use it rather than trying to overwrite it. Now, it might feel like a little bit of a black box here. You may need to find out what's going on in a little bit more detail. So I do an ls in the same directory. You'll see I've my Avantra installation scripts, which are being downloaded and utilized by the installer. But we've also got this Avantra auto deployment.log file. And so if you're interested, what you can always do is do a tail -f Avantra auto deployment.log. And so that allows us to monitor everything that's happening within the installation script as it happens. So here, as you can see, it's downloading and configuring PostgreSQL for the first time, including setting up the data directories and all that kind of fun stuff. So as the script goes through, if you choose to, you can keep an eye on this installation log. But also if you have any problems, if you have any questions, or if things don't quite go right, you can always attach this log to a support ticket with us at support@avantra.com. So there's about 10 to 12 steps here depending on the system. And so it'll go through, it'll install all of the required packages. So the Java runtime environment, it'll install the PostgreSQL server, and then it'll go ahead and it'll start to install the Avantra server itself. And once the Avantra server is in place, it'll also do the installation of an Avantra agent as well, so that there's an agent on the local machine monitoring your own Avantra installation. It's quite meta. The script will also do the configuration of the Avantra database. Now this also includes the hardening of your Avantra system. So if you go to support.avantra.com, our support website, you'll see there's links there to our Avantra security and hardening guide. And so many, but not all, many of those recommendations are applied automatically by our installation script, our quick installer here. so that you don't have to worry about this stuff. So this is stuff like disabling forgot my password, applying password policies, and all of that kind of fun stuff. So feel free to go through that hardening guide, and we do recommend people revisit it on a regular basis. But as a base installation, once you go through this, it will have applied those security and hardening principles to your Avantra installation. So once it's configured the Avantra database, it'll do the agent, and then once the agent is configured, then the system will start up for the first time and we'll be able to log in. So it's doing the agent installation at the moment. We're on step 9. You can see this here, and it's useful to watch along here and see how this is all working. It configures all of the services to start, so that's the systemd services. So they will all be configured to start at system boot, and then eventually the script will complete. So I'm going to get rid of this extra shell down here because we don't need it. So let me just get rid of it like that. And now you'll see, so we had our steps 1 through 14 in this case. Once we install the Avantra server, it configured the database, installed the agent, configured the services to start, applied the hardening, configured the Avantra database for first logon, registered the local agent, and started the services. Now, this last section down here, I highly recommend that you do exactly what I've just done there, which is select it, copy it, and paste it somewhere. Put it into a password manager, put it into a secure location, because there's 2 sets of information here that are very important to note down. The first one here is the login credentials for the underlying Avantra database. So this is how the Avantra services connect to the underlying PostgreSQL database that we've set up. So what's the database, what's the username, and what's the password? So they are provided there. They will not be shown again, so it's very important to note them down just in case you need them for later on. The second one is the admin credentials for the Avantra user interface itself. So this is the super administrator within the system. You will be prompted to change this password at first login, so it's important to know it at least at the start, but it's always good to note these things down as well. So now, what I'm going to do here is just a hostname -i, just to get myself the IP address of the system that we're working on. And it takes about 2 to 4 minutes, maybe 3 to 5 minutes, depending on your system, for the system to come up for the first time. And the way you can check how it's doing is if you do an ss-tln, this is a standard Linux command, you'll start to see some of the ports that Avantra uses starting to appear here. So in this case, 22 being SSH, these are standard services. 5432 is our PostgreSQL database. We know that's up. 9051 is the local agent on this machine. So we know that's up. If we do it again, we see that 9050 has now been added to that list. So that's the Avantra server itself. So that's the server services. That's the port that all the remote agents use to communicate with Avantra. And in a couple of seconds, we should see one more being added to the list, which is 8443, which is the secure port through which you can access the user interface for Avantra. And we should see that pop up here in the next couple of seconds as we wait. So, these are all starting up for the first time. They're doing their initial configurations. They take a few minutes. But in a few moments, we should see 8443, and there it is, being added to the list like that. So we have the IP address. Let's go back over here, and we're going to do HTTPS that, oops, it copied the 8443. Let's go back up and get our IP address. So there it is. Paste that here, 8443. Okay, so the first thing we're presented with is that our connection is not private. Now that's not unexpected, because during the installation process, we actually minted a brand new self-signed certificate for the server itself. So this is a self-signed root certificate, just been minted. It's valid for a year. Look, you can replace this later on. There's solution articles on that within our support area. But for now, I'm quite happy to proceed as I am. I'm going to go back here and just pick up the admin credentials that we saw earlier. So copy this and let's paste it over here. So we're going to log in with admin and the password. And it's going to say, okay, you know what? You need to change your password. And then that's fair enough. So I'm going to paste my password and add some stuff to it to make it secure. And that's it. I've now logged into my fully fledged Avantra system for the first time. So if I go in here and I go about, we see today I'm running 21.11.4. It's the latest build of Avantra. It's all good to go. If I go into systems and into servers, you can see that our local machine is already registered using the latest version of the agent, which is 21.11.401. And this is all set up and ready to go. I also mentioned all the hardening settings have been applied. So if I go to administration and settings, you will see that anything in bold is something that has been changed away from the default. So the log level has been set to error. We've enabled only specific TLS protocols. We've gone for secure communication between the UI and the master. And if we go into the Avantra UI, there's a few in here as well, such as remember me, reset password, they're all disabled. And our password policy, of course, has been set to as secure as it can be. So there we go. So what we've done there is we've turned a vanilla Ubuntu 20.04 installation into a fully fledged Avantra system using our single-click quick installer to install all our dependencies, our Java, our PostgreSQL, configure them securely, install all the Avantra services, install all the Avantra installers, and to bring us to a system that is ready for us to install a license and ready for us to get going. So I hope that's been useful, and I really hope that that this system works for you. And thanks very much for watching, and see you again.